It is Wednesday, May the 20th, and it's time once again for the Cabin Fever podcast. Hi, everybody. It is Brent Bailey, and it is another glorious day to be alive. Hopefully, you're having a great day wherever you are. It is Wednesday, which means millions of people have church tonight on a midweek service, and hopefully, wherever you're going to church, you're going to go tonight and get your midweek fill-up. How's everybody doing out there? Hopefully you're having a great day. Why don't you take a moment right now and share the podcast. Click that share button right there underneath if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on Twitter or Periscope, go ahead and hit the retweet button. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, share it as best you can. All right. Want to welcome everybody that is watching on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thank you so much for downloading that. If you're watching on your phone or your tablet, that's great. If you're listening to us on one of the audio podcast platforms, including including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and those kind of things, thank you so much for downloading us and listening to us. It really means a lot. We got a great show planned for you today. I have American Idol alumni Colton Dixon and his wife Annie, who grew up in my youth group, but we're going to get to them in just a little bit. Right now, though, I'm going to bring on my wife. She's going to be this is the first time she's been on as a guest. She hosted, of course, the family or the Mother's Day show, and had her mom and her sister and friend Christine Martin on, and now she's going to come on as a guest because we got some things to talk about, because she actually is a big fan of American Idol, and so hi honey.
Hi.
You're out there outside. It looks kind of gloomy.
I'm outside. I'm bearing the cold out here because it's a pretty background.
Yeah, because she can't, she's just, if in the other room we get feedback. So anyway, we're going to talk about a few things. As I said, American Idol alumnus Colton Dixon is with us today.
Yes.
His wife Annie, and we're going to be playing that. We had to tape the interview because Colton had a brand new album that released this Friday, an EP that released this Friday, and he's been doing press and doing all kinds of interviews and promoting the album, and we were just so grateful that we were able to be squeezed in there. So him and Annie will be joining us here in just a few minutes. We recorded that earlier. So anyway, but let's talk about a couple things. I don't know if you've seen this, babe, but I was reading in the news that right now, and let me pull this up because I want to make sure I get it right. During this time, people have started doing and experimenting with unusual things. And if you're looking on the screen there, let me get us off there. This is one of the things that people have begun to experiment with, where they're making these little small pancakes and then turning them into cereal. That sounds like something you would do, though. I mean, that sounds like, I'm going to try something here.
Yeah, I like to experiment. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do it yet, because for me, I don't like cereal and milk and the cereal being all mushy. Yeah, and that's what I feel like.
I was kind of curious.
I know they cooked it.
I'm curious about it too, how much they do cook these to make them crunchy, or if they make them a little firmer or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
I'll have to look into it.
This is a very serious trend that is sweeping America right now. It's very popular. There were articles in USA Today about it. It's being talked about on the news. A lot of folks are making miniature pancake, and you can make them however you want: blueberry, chocolate chip, bananas, whatever. But they're making miniature pancakes and turning them into cereal. So the question we want to ask you today is, and this is one of several that we're going to talk about today, but what is the thing what's the experimental meal that you have started to do during this time off? I know some people have tried all kinds of things, and if you follow me on social media, you saw a few weeks ago, I actually rubbed peanut butter and jelly all over a steak and then grilled it, and it was out of this world. So if you're getting experimental during this time, let us know in the comments below what it is you're experimenting with and what has turned out to be really good and what has turned out to be really bad. Okay, the next thing that we are reading about is that they're calling it slow living hobbies. have been making a comeback. And I remember being a youth pastor several years ago. There was a lot of folks that really got back into Uno and checkers and chess and things like that. But now they're saying puzzles, knitting, and gardening have all made a huge comeback during this time. I'm not a big fan of any of those, but
I have a friend who's been knitting,
and
she's knit a lot of different things.
I'm not really much I don't have the patience for the puzzle. Gardening, if we're talking about flower beds and stuff like that, I did that when we were in Oklahoma, and I didn't really like it that much. But I think
I didn't really either.
Since we've been quarantining up in Kentucky at my parents' house, I have been painting and doing outdoor work and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's another question for in the comments below. What's the thing that you've picked up as a habit or a hobby, I guess, during the quarantine times? What is it, babe? What have you been doing?
Well, when you talked about cooking, I did try out pork roast, and today I'm making pork roast for the second time. I've never made it before, so that was, that's kind of minor. But that's not really a big deal. But but I did. I don't know. I really haven't done a whole.
I know that we've been playing a lot of board games with the kids. Even games that we would never probably play. We played Uno one night. We played something called 5 Minute Dungeon, and that's just a lot of insanity right there. But our kids like to play video games. They do, but we've been trying to get together and play board games and stuff. So, what are some of the slow habits or slow things that you guys have gotten back into now that the quarantine has hit? So, in the comments below. I know we're taking our time today getting to the interview, but in the comments below, tell us what is the slow thing that you enjoy doing? What's the thing that you've been able to do? And I don't really need to hear about binge watching this show, and that's it's so normal. but if you have been able to slow down and do something fun, what is it? Let us know in the comments below what it is that you've been into. All right, this one was really kind of got my attention. Because we live in Orlando and we're Disney pass holders, and we read that they're starting to release some of the recipes for some of your favorite foods there around Disney World, and they're not the only ones doing it. There on the screen is the thing that I'm really kind of excited about. They released the recipe for the Dole Whip. And if you don't know what that is, it's a pineapple flavored ice cream that you can only get at Disney World or Disneyland or one of the Disney resorts and parks.
It's good.
But IKEA also released their famous meatballs recipe, and then Delta, I think it was Delta, or was it United? United Airlines released the recipe for their Stoop waffle treats. And then Disney has released several things: the Mickey Mouse shaped vignettes, and their French toast. I've never had the French toast there. Have you?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I don't know. They're churro bites. They're releasing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'd like to try the churro bites. The kids would love that.
I would love to try it as well. The thing that I'm really hoping or wishing that they would release is the gray stuff. Anybody know what I'm talking about
delicious.
there? It is delicious. Ask the dishes.
Ask the dishes.
It's we found a kind of a copycat one time, a copycat recipe, but it wasn't quite the same.
It wasn't quite the same, but it was still good.
Yeah, it was.
Because I think you made it, and it was really good.
It was pretty good. It's Oreo flavored, so.
Yeah.
So anyway, what is that's another question for the comments down below. What is one of the things that you wish the public could have access to the recipe? And I wonder if anybody is going to say the 11 herbs and spices for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if that is even a possibility.
I mean, supposedly even the president of the company has never seen the actual recipe, so they keep it locked away in a safe. So, okay, all right, last thing, and then we're gonna move on to the interview here in just a minute or two. But Jody, obviously, if you know anything about her, she grew up in a musical family, and has sung in front of the whole world her whole life. And today we've got Colton Dixon coming on here in just a few minutes. But last night was the finale of The Voice, and
Yeah.
then I think it was Sunday, right?
Sunday
Sunday
night.
was the finale for American
American
Idol
Idol.
this season. First of
Yeah.
all, congratulations to what is his name?
For The Voice.
The
I
Voice.
didn't
Todd.
actually think.
Todd won The Voice last night.
All right.
And he was on Team Blake, and so he won. Todd, I'm not sure how you say his last name, but I'm going to just take a shot at it. Todd Tillman or Tiggleman, Tigleham, I don't know, something like that. But Todd won last night on The Voice. But Jody's big thing was Sunday night on American
Yeah.
Idol, and
American
they
Idol.
had the final. And who won, Jode?
A young girl from Harlem named Just Sam. And the thing I noticed on American Idol this season, and I'm sure that I know that everybody that does American Idol has some kind of a story, but they were really picking people that had a deep story, something deep about them. And so Just Sam, if anybody's watched, I mean, you'd see, read anything on her. She came from a home where her parents, I guess, separated, and her mom wound up in jail, and her grandmother raised her in Harlem. And so her and her sister, and she started singing in the subways. And actually there was some documentary that was done on her. But anyway, so she went out to, she auditioned, and this thing that was really cool and impressive about her is that when she auditioned, after she was done, I believe it was after when she was done, she went over and said, "Can I pray with you all?" And she went over and prayed for Katy Perry and Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan, and just really moving. And the whole thing was really moving. And so when I watched her, I was like, and I had a lot of my favorites that I would pick, and none of them, well, not none of them, but very few of them got in the top 20. And but she was one that I was like, she's going to take this competition. There's something about her. She's going to take it. They're really going to love her. So anyway, it was really a great show. So congratulations to Just Sam.
Yeah.
Amazing voice, amazing heart, and looking forward to seeing how her career goes.
Yeah,
Sure, it's gonna be great.
it's awesome, and a few years ago, we've known a few folks that had gone through there. We went. Melinda Doolittle actually grew up while we were at Rainbow Bible Church when, and I'm trying to remember what number season that was on, but that was when Preston was,
that was
a baby, so that was 13 years ago. But then we've just had a great time watching American Idol, and it switched over from Fox to ABC. It's gone through all kinds of, ups and downs. But a few years ago, season 11, there was a young guy that came on, and he had hair up to here, and he ended up marrying a young lady that we had the privilege of being youth pastors for, and walking through some times with her family, and it was just so cool to catch up with them. So I'm gonna take you right now to an interview that I recorded earlier with Colton and Annie Dixon. So I hope that you enjoy, and let's see if I can get this set up right. All right. So, all right, this is Colton and Annie Dixon right here on the Cabin Fever podcast. If you are anything like my wife, you are addicted to American Idol, and I'm going to throw some footage up there because our guest today is an alumnus of season 11, and my wife always said, the guy with the hair, and I'm sure he probably is known that way around the world, but we were rooting for him during that time. Now, I'm not a huge American Idol fan. I'm not against it though, and but I'll watch when we get close. That whole drama before is a little too much for me, but I love watching people rise up and become what they're supposed to be. So as we were watching, we were rooting for him, and then he was. I'm not sure the exact placement. I'll get him to tell us here in just a second. But anyway, his career really took off afterwards, and then he met this young lady who was in the youth group that I was the youth pastor of at Rhema Bible Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the next thing I know, she's getting married to this guy. And I was like, well, what a small world is this? And it's incredibly small, but I'm so incredibly grateful that they took some time out. He just had a brand new EP that launched on Friday, the 15th, and I'm really, really, really super excited to have with me today Colton and Annie Dixon. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, we're good. How are you?
Well, I mean, it's cabin fever, but we're good. I mean, I've actually been able to get out and about. So, how about you? You guys are enjoying quarantine, or have you been able to get out?
Yeah, we pretty much nestled in for the most part, but it's been actually a really sweet season for us. We've been trying to make the most of cabin fever.
So
yeah, it's been good.
So guys, first of all, thanks for coming on. It really means a lot that you'd take. I know right now is super busy for you. You just dropped your new EP on Friday, the 15th. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get to some other stuff.
Sure, yeah. Dropped 5 songs on Friday. It's kind of birthed out of a season of unknown and uncertainty, so it's kind of just God's timing that it's coming out, or that it came out when it did. So I hope those songs give you guys hope. Hope you have some fun while you listen to it as well. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into those 5 songs, so hope you enjoy them. But yeah, we've been doing all the press stuff and trying to get creative on how to do shows and all those fun things. So it's been an interesting time.
Yeah, so that's a good question right there. What is the plans for concerts and shows? I mean, do you have anything that are you allowed to even talk about it?
Annie and I were actually trying to spitballing earlier today. It's like, do you like go full blown production and charge people an admission fee and that's the only place they can watch the show? Or I've been doing Instagram Live and Facebook Live and things like that just from my home studio, but would be fun to perform these new songs somewhere. So trying to get creative. Now more than ever, the creatives have to be creative.
Yeah. So the new song is called, and I did have it written down right here. Miracles, right?
Miracles.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw the video up on the screen right now. The video's up on the screen right now. It's called Miracles. Tell us about the song.
Yeah. Like I said, this whole project was kind of birthed out of that season of uncertainty. The American Idol deal ended for me about 3 years ago, which meant my record deal went away as well. So I kind of felt like a musician without a job, which is kind of what that is. So there was a lot of, how are we going to make this work? Is music still the thing? Just all of those questions. And Annie actually said something really good. She said, man, I know this may seem like a setback, but what if this is actually God just setting you up for what's next? Just completely shifted the way I was thinking about it. So we started to apply our faith to that. We're big believers that faith is what precedes a miracle.
Come on now.
So just a few months went by, and of course we wanted it to be right then and there that things changed, but it doesn't always work that way. A few months went by, and then a new record deal came about that completely blew our expectations out the water. And it's been just a great journey, but there was that season where we didn't know, kind of like the season we're in now. So during that time, we had to slow down a little bit. We started to see all the things around us for the miracles that they really were, the little things that we take for granted or overlook. And all of those ideas is kind of what inspired the song Miracles.
So I just have to know, how in the world did you guys even meet? I mean, did you come to Oklahoma? I mean, were you out in California? Where did you meet him at, Annie?
I was in California,
Okay.
looking for a place because I was going to move there. And I was with Ray Jean Wilson and his assistant, Todd, is like my age. And we were going to this small show on Hollywood Boulevard? Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard.
And before they're like, oh, this guy from American Idol's going to be there. And I was like, oh, cool. Whatever. I guess he'll be sitting in a corner. We'll shake his hand, whatever. And then,
And then I thought she was really good looking, so we started talking.
We met. Yeah. And we just like hit it off there, and it was like the last thing I was definitely ever looking for or expecting, but
Yeah.
yeah. And so we kind of stayed in contact and started dating a few months later. So it was a whirlwind.
It sounds like it, and I really wouldn't have expected anything less. I mean, your family is, I mean, everything your dad and your mom have ever been involved with is always so, awesome and just, great at everything. So I wouldn't have expected anything less. Now, you guys have just rocked the world with big news just a little while ago, announcing that you guys are expecting, and it's twins, right?
Yes, it rocked our worlds too.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do twins run in your family? Either one of you?
They kind
Yeah.
kind of run in his, but
Yeah, apparently identical twins is kind of just happenstance.
they say it's not genetic.
Yeah, I don't know which is the correct whatever, but
Yeah.
my grandmother's a twin. I think Annie's got twins a little further back, right?
Yeah, just kind of way distant. But
Yeah, but-
anyway.
Wasn't on our radar,
was-
that's for
But
sure.
it was definitely exciting. It's really exciting.
I mean, I guess that's a miracle. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Pun intended.
So, I mean, how is that? I mean, are you guys getting everything ready? Are you prepared, and how far along are we, and that kind of thing?
We should be probably a little more prepared, but
We're getting there.
yeah. He's been hanging like curtain rods and stuff and working on the baby room
Yeah.
and
30 minutes ago, I hung a curtain rod in the nursery.
yeah,
So.
we're getting it done. He'll get there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun though.
yeah, we've been reading like books, baby wise, and like trying to learn all the things.
And all the things that you'll forget here in just a short time, you'll just forget about all that and go, that's for other people who are more prepared than I am. So, so guys, as you're preparing to be parents, here we go into COVID-19, and nobody saw this coming. I mean, it's a terrible thing, but I mean, I know that you settled in. You said that at the beginning, but what have you guys been doing to keep yourselves mentally from just going bonkers and staying strong?
I think at the beginning we kind of made the decision like we're going to believe this is going to work in our favor. This is going to be a good time for us regardless because it affects his business, it affects a lot of things, but we're like this is going to turn for our good and we're just going to believe that and we're going to speak that and just not waver. So it really has been like a really sweet time, and
Agreed.
Our lives are about to change significantly in a couple of months, so I think it's been really peaceful. But do you want to say anything?
Yeah, we declared that over this whole season, and we also just started implying routines into our schedule. We'll wake up and work out and have Bible time, and I haven't been perfect. I'll speak for myself. I haven't been perfect at it, but I try and get that in as often as I can. There's really no excuse. I think we all have an opportunity to grow during the season, but no one can make that decision but yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's been the big thing I know for myself. But yeah, at first there were a couple puzzles, a Lego set possibly, but got bored with it pretty quick. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I've played a 5-minute dungeon and stuff with my kids, and I'm just like, okay, this has now become 5-second dungeon. I'm done. I'm just ready to it's a card game. I don't even know if you're familiar with it, but anyway. Okay. But yeah, I feel that and I understand that. So you guys have kind of become a little bit of an it couple. I mean, People Magazine, people doing talking about you guys a lot, and then all of a sudden I see this song called "Can't Quit You," and Annie's all over it. I mean, you not just you, but it's her too. And I know you wrote that song about her, right?
Yeah, it was a fun song that actually someone else in the writer's room started. I love it when songs start that way. It takes a lot of the pressure off. But the whole time we were writing it, I just obviously had Annie in mind. It's like regardless of what life throws at you, like we've just made the decision to love each other no matter what. So it's not even in the possibility of being able to stop loving her. It's the kind of the idea of the song. But yeah, we got to kind of tell our story through the music video. that just came out on Friday as well. Got to do it in a cool way. I'm kind of the artsy fartsy type, so got to use like a projector with some of our older footage, and we projected that onto me as I sang the song. It was really fun.
Yeah, we've got it up on the screen right now, and it's just super cool because both of you are there, but it means something. I guess to people that you grow, you see people grow up, or you're around them a lot, and then all of a sudden you go, hey, they're on TV, and you know what I mean? And it just is, it's really cool and it's really special. So, all right, before we let you go, I just wanted to just ask this question, and this thing has rocked so many people, and you even said yourself you were in a time of uncertainty, and there's just so many people out there, and both of you can say whatever you want here, but people are in a real weird state right now. Some people have been furloughed, some people have lost their job, some people have lost loved ones. This thing has really wreaked havoc on everybody. Before we go today, what did you do? Let me rephrase it another way. What steps were you taking? I know you said you were declaring over your life, but as you were stepping towards rebuilding after you lost your record deal and things like that, what was the mindset? That's the word I was looking for. What is the mindset for you in facing a setback like that? Because there's people out there that really need that encouragement right now.
Sure. Just for me personally, it was about choosing faith over fear. It's really easy when trials come to give in to your flesh and the emotion and the uncertainty and the unknown, because you can't always see the promise, but God still made the promise, so you can stand on that. His word has never returned void. So I know for me and for us, it was just a matter of, even in the small decisions, whenever anxiety or fear would flare up, you just push it down and you go, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to be okay, because God's promises says that I will be okay. He says he gives me plans to prosper me, to give me hope and a future. So I'm going to stand on that instead of what the enemy's feeding me. So yeah, some people think they're going to make one decision and it's all going to turn. And maybe, most likely, no. It's going to be a bunch of small battles that you win to get your mind in the right place, to say, no, I'm actually going to come at this with faith, knowing that God is going to take care of this, rather than fear, which I don't think God can do a lot with fear. I think he'd rather do a lot with faith.
So good.
Yeah, I remember the days after that record deal thing, because it's kind of like he loses his job. It's kind of like, and
it was a lot.
You didn't see it coming. And so, I mean, I had those moments of like, I'm at the piano singing worship songs, like, kind of crying, just like, okay, Lord, like that moment of like you feel like your life is falling apart.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, then you have to just kind of make the choice, like, and just get back in the word and spend that time with God. And I really believe he'll like comfort you, and also just give you that peace and build your faith, and just get your eyes on him, really.
Yeah.
Just turn your eyes back to him. And
take your focus off of the problem and onto the solution.
And it's easier said than done. But,
sure. Yeah, but it's an everyday thing. His mercies are new every morning. But it's every morning. It's every day. You can fill up your tank one day and you could be on empty the next day. So it's a continual pressing in that I think we forget sometimes, maybe.
Yeah. This is Colton and Annie Dixon, American Idol alumnus, recording singer, songwriter, and then, of course, his lovely wife, who grew up in my youth group. And I couldn't be prouder of you, Annie, and I'm so happy for you, Colton. And we celebrate everything that you guys are doing and every victory you have. And every time we see you on TV, and every time we see you in the news or anything like that, a little bit of us stands up and salutes and puts our hand over our heart and go, we know those guys and we're proud of them. And couldn't be happier for you.
Man, thank you so much. And thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
I'm so glad that you were able to take the time out to do it, especially right in the middle of this big press thing that you're doing for your new project. If you guys would like to reach out to kind of get some samples, or I don't know if that's the right word, but if you want to hear or see, that's the word I'm looking for. The new video, you can go on YouTube. It's Colton Dixon Music, and right there on the screen, you can get a hold of, reach out to them through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. It's all at Colton Dixon Music, and you'll be able to reach out and see it, hear it, experience it. And whenever the time comes that the shows are back, are happening, you'll be able to see him out on the road at Disney World.
Yes. Come on, let's go. It's one of our favorites.
Yeah. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the program today. We pray that you have a great rest of your day. If the babies are girls, right? So naming one of them Brent is out of the question. Anyway, you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Take care. We'll see you soon. That's Colton and Annie Dixon, everybody. All right. Take care. All right. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. I want to thank Colton and Annie Dixon for coming and being with us in spite of the few technical problems that we had with the interview. Aren't they just great? They're just awesome, and so glad that they were able to come by and be with us. You'll want to be with me on Friday. I've got a great show planned for you. I've got author of the book You're Born an Original, Don't Die a Copy. That's John Mason. He's going to be with me on Friday. Looking ahead to next week, I've got another series of great shows planned for you. You don't want to miss it. Amongst other folks, I've got Beth Jones going to be stopping by to talk about her new book, and it's going to be a very big week. Have a great Wednesday. Get outside and break the cabin fever. Have a great day, everybody.